This is Sheridan Halfacre from Angstadt Armory over in Mebane, North Carolina. I'm the chief gunsmith here, and we're going to be finally building the SRUNA-22 Bullpup kit. So right now we have an OG 1022, and it's old wooden stock. It looks to be about 36.5, 37 inches overall length. And the important thing here is, let's check that barrel length. So off the face of the bolt, there we go. As the bolt is about a ½ inch or so, ¼ inch internal receiver, we're looking at like an 18 inch, 18.5 inch barrel over, and then overall length of about 37 inches. Remember the numbers. All right, next step, disassembly. So clear, make sure she's good. Visually and physically inspect the chamber. I can't fit my finger in there, but I visually inspected that it's clear. Screwdriver, just to pop the stock off really quick. Hopefully we will never need this again. Hopefully. All right, and then you're left with a bare bones 1022. First thing that we're going to do is the Angstadt fix. Fix? I guess fix. First thing, pull off the barrel so that we can throw on the Angstadt. Keep in mind that for your regular SRUNA upgrade, you don't have to pull the barrel. You can just slap it right in there. I want it to be a little bit cooler though, so we're going to swap out the barrel while we're here. SRU, cool shout out to them. They we mentioned that we wanted to do a integrally suppressed version of this, and they pulled out all the measurements and overall inner diameter, outer diameter stuff that is allowable with this kit. There are a couple different integrally suppressed barrels for the 1022. I think like 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and they gave us a completely impartial, just, hey, here are the measurements. Whatever is under this measurement, use that. So that was really cool, and really it made the whole picking of the barrel price or barrel option a whole lot easier than I expected. Honestly, that was the most difficult part in my brain for oh, this whole build, it's going to be, I need to figure out the barrel. And I don't want to buy too expensive a barrel and it not fit. It sucks. I have to get like 2/3 of a turn and then move things again because it's a really shitty placement for a screw. It reminds me of like one of my favorite quotes from my old instructor, who really hated engineers. He said that in a room full of hot women, an engineer would run past all of that to fuck a machinist in the ass. Especially if it were on a crucial project that was really time limited. All right, barrel done. Ideally, we will never need that again. The other barrel. All right, and it should be as simple as just reverse, which is cool. One downside that I'm seeing, I'm not trying to shit on Angstadt too much, especially since they're like right next door and they can come kill me. Your engraving's upside down, bro. Like, it's upside down and on the underside of the barrel. Like, you timed where that slot would be, so you decided that your thing will be upside down. Maybe if you don't want to show off your make and model, but I mean, your serial is still, it'll probably still be visible. I don't know. I'm actually going to drop it into the stock. It won't fit properly, but I'll see how close I can get it to fit real quick, just to see how much is visible. Some people are sticklers for wanting to be able to see serial. Technically, the ATF has a rule that hey, no visible serial number. NVSN like if it's an old gun that doesn't have a serial number, or it's a modern gun that has like a ton of crazy shit slapped on it and you can't see the serial number or it's obscured. They suggest, at least with the old stuff, NVSN. Nowadays, it's a little bit less forgiving, understandably so, but still NVSN is an option. I don't think that will work with this one though, because it's an NFA item, and they need to see that serial. All right, finally. As time-consuming as swapping that barrel was, purely just the two screws, I have to pull all of it off again because I forgot to put the O-ring on. Knowledge for the people. Don't forget to put your O-rings on, folks. With the Angstadt, it comes with a pair of O-rings. I believe I only have to use one. I'll go double check. But they suggest putting an O-ring on to help with the gas seal, to help integrally suppress the can. Yeah, to my understanding, it's designed to help seal the chamber and the all the gases that are coming out of the can and the receiver, and force it down the barrel instead of allowing it to seep out the cracks in the receiver. Well, cracks, small micro gaps in the machining and stuff like that. Nothing bad, just inconvenient. But I've learned how to do it faster now, so that's nice. O-ring. Bust an O-ring trying to fucking fix this thing. Okay, so actually that seat's a whole lot nicer, a whole lot more snug. And what'll happen is with this dovetailed, like, blocking bar kind of thing, barrel locking bar, I guess, I don't know what the proper nomenclature is, it will, instead of pulling metal on metal, it'll pull metal into a squishy rubber seal and then metal, which will seal the gases a whole lot better. So good on them for doing that. That makes a lot of sense. I don't think we can fit it perfectly, but let's try. There are some old fuds turning in their fucking graves right now because I can't reassemble a 1022 in 7 seconds. All right. Yeah, okay. So it is visible, but not great. Technically, you don't have everything that is required in order to properly serialize this because I cannot see the make. I need to see the make, model, serial number, and caliber. And I see it actually ends at model. There's no make. I could, theoretically identify that. Like, if I just look up the Vanquish 22, chances are this is what's going to show up. And like, oh yeah, duh. But in order to be safe, if I were a stickler, I would have to pull this out of the stock to verify that it actually says Angstadt. So, ideally, this is the last time touching that stock. And now it's all cool, new stuff. So, first step, pull this pin out, pull this blower off, keep the original 1022 takedown screw. Okay, so, not the last fucking time, I need this. Now that's really cool. So, there are tons of replicas for all kinds of, like airsoft replicas for all kinds of guns. And it looks like this is set up to allow real steel and the airsoft replica. I think that's cool as shit. In their instructions, it says, keep the original 1022 takedown screw if to be reused it will be used during the installation process. If you are installing kit onto an airsoft replica, replace the takedown screw with an M5x30 screw. That's clever. Alright, so in order to move forward, I have to disassemble the upper a little bit. It's a slightly finicky system. Push the button, pull back, depress the button, let go, and it puts pressure, like spring pressure on the bolt lock. God, that's so nice. These just fall out. So much easier than what I'm used to. And then the only thing that isn't going to be easy is pulling this spring out. While I'm here, I'm going to give it a little bit of a cleaning. The biggest downside of the 22s just the caliber 22 LR, is that it's dirty as sin. And this hasn't been cleaned in years, so that doesn't help. It is dirty because it uses rimfire and its blowback. Rimfire just in general tends to be a little bit more dirty because like the primer is exposed to the the open air of the cartridge after the pill has left the cartridge. So all that gunk is also able to get out. For example, like a centerfire cartridge, the primer is self-contained. It is its own little thing inside of a little hole in the bottom, and it has the smallest little hole in the bottom of the brass to allow the primer explosive to go up into the powder. Rimfire is the opposite. All of the primer is exposed inside of this rim because what happens is they put a little drop of the primer into the cartridge and then they spin the cartridge so that centrifugal force pulls the primer liquid into the rim and they just keep spinning it until it dries, and then cool, now you have primer in somewhere that you couldn't reach beforehand. Primer is just a dirtier explosive, and it leaves even more residue than just the gunpowder and stuff like that. So not only do you get your like regular gunpowder residue and like carbon and stuff like that, but you also get all the residue from the primer explosive and shit like that. It's instead of cleaning up one thing, you're also having to clean up another thing on top of that. So it gets dirty almost twice as fast. All right, she's clean, ready to go. Remove the 5 countersunk pins, or countersunk screws, securing the rear mount. Loosen, remove the rear mount. All right, let's do that really quick. You know, it's going to be fun. I kind of want to Cerakote this, but like I also kind of don't, because like you're not really going to see it. I like black and OD green, so I probably would just keep it. Because like if you look, this thing's beat up. It's just an enamel paint. One of the downsides of them being a couple dollars to make is they use really shitty paint. Apply force to separate the front receiver from the upper handguard. Just all right. All right. So 1022 receiver into the rear. Rear to the front. All right. Oh, that is snug. I like that a lot. Oh, that's slick as hell. All right. Then put this back. So wait, just put this back on there. Oh my god, this is so much cooler than their SARB 15. I might eat my words in a little bit, but as of right now, this is all just hand tools and a little bit of pressure. Like, that is awesome. It's like most people don't have a vise in their garage, like, or a garage. Damn expensive nowadays. So making things that require a gunsmith, yes, cool, I get money, but like that's inconvenient for the consumer. I think it's really cool that thus far I've just used, honestly, probably like $20 worth of tooling. Like I can go get an Allen key set from Harbor Freight and a screwdriver. I used a punch. You could use a pencil or like a 5.56 cartridge or something. Yeah, also, this is such a clever little design. I really, really like that. That's like, especially as like machinist things, because like you still want to keep this connected so you don't have to disassemble or the consumer to disassemble any like springs and shit. But it just pivots out of the way. That's, oh man. I like the tiny things that have gone into this. I feel like either if it's the exact same design team, then they've learned a lot from the SARB installation. Take down screw. There you go. That was exactly what I was worried about, or what I was like, how are we going to stop this thing from flopping around? Oh, the takedown screw, you idiot. I hope I just need to bop it in place. I'm going to use this rear pin to hold it in place. Alright, cool. Yeah, that's what I'd suggest. So, as it sits in this kit, the barrel and action kind of like flop because it's only being held in place by like the rear of this part. What I would do is grab the big chunky pin from the 1022 receiver. They've got a slot for it right up here. Just insert it so that it locates. It's essentially a locating stud, and it stops everything from moving. Otherwise, I wasn't able to find the hole on the inside of this with the takedown screw. Right, then secure the receiver with these screws up top. Big one to the rear. Small one to the floor. So, in the future, I would suggest to SRU in their kit, instead of giving 2 screws, 1 long, 1 short, do 4 screws, 2 short, 2 long, because now I have this open screw hole, and it doesn't matter, but like aesthetically, I'm going to think that something's missing. A plug, or just double their production of screws. There are a couple pennies. Well, these are like weird set screws, so maybe a little bit more than a few pennies, but longer set screw. All right, and now we just reassemble the 1022, ideally like normal. Okay, there we go. I just forgot to put the arm forward. Installing push rod and ensuring proper trigger reset. All right. This trigger setup, and now it could get fixed, but since I don't see any bushings, I don't think it will get fixed. This is going to get held in this lower, and it will continue to actuate like normal, but that click, that is because this bushing that they've installed, that they have us install, it has room to slide left and right. I wish that it didn't. I understand why they do that, specifically to deal with like trigger contour and stuff like that. I wish they included bushings. For example, for the Franklin binary trigger push rod kit that they have, they come standard with it. It has bushings on it that, I mean, it doesn't stop it, but it makes it a whole lot easier. Less likely to make noise. And I just like things to sound sturdy, not make any noise. Well, yeah, there you go. The barrel is free floating, which allows it to resonate. And if I bonk it, the barrel will continue down. I think it's just going to click around, but I don't know until I, do it. I really don't like that. Alright, QD. Which, I love their QDs. Big chunky boy. And then, safety pistol grip. Alright, I am right-handed, so this way. It looks like that's about it. Do a functions test. Alright, she's clear. Let's check. Doesn't go off. I believe what happened is this super light pin. I wish these holes were slightly tighter. Like the tolerances were a little bit less, because like right now, yeah. Convenient for disassembly. Not for reassembly, though. Well, technically they did exactly what Ruger did, because that's the Ruger pin. That's not them. Oh, look at that. That was so much easier. I made sure to hold on to it slide it on there. Yeah, that came on and off a whole lot easier. So I made sure to hold that stud on while sliding it up. And then I just Indiana Jones the part. Now it should work. Cool. All right, so that's something to look for when you go to reassemble this thing, especially if this thing is really stiff. It's because that cross pin, one of the cross pins somewhere, is slightly out of alignment and causing issues. All right, I have one thing to do, and it will be, all right, now it's good. Drop the magazine. I picked up a round. All right, cool. It passes the functions test. I really, really wish that there was some sort of charging handle up here. Let's see. It's annoying. But I really wish that there was a charging handle up here. I understand why there isn't. It absolutely makes sense. It's not logistical or economical. I understand why. But I do find it slightly annoying. I mean, I could probably get used to that. The cool part about their design is that it allows for quick disassembly. All right, so all of the pins are still there. That's all good. A better option for them for hardware would be a male and female screw that go on either side over this, because as of right now, this just falls out. I think this will still run just fine. But anyway, let's get this guy back together and check out overall length. All right, so now we took it from a 37-ish inch rifle to a 26.5 overall length. I think 24 is the legal limit. I have to go double check that. It looks like it's about a 30% decrease. In fact, if you look at it, I think this is really telling. This is smaller than just the stock. That's really cool. And now that I'm looking at it, I really like the FDE barrel, because it's like on the darker shade of FDE. I was worried because it said FDE in the listing, flat dark earth. I was worried that it would be like a tan, but it's actually a true FDE. Go Angstadt. And the FDE matches really well with the OD green and the matte black, or like the satin black. So we've got a plan. Don't know if it'll work. It should work, but the plan is to full auto this guy. It'll be a really fun, quick, dinky little... There's a whole magazine. We're going to convert it to an open bolt. We've got all the licensing to do so. And I have all of the designs. I just need to sit down and tinker with it to make sure that I'm doing it properly. And then ideally, just do it. But in the meantime, we're going to run it semi-auto. All right, test fire the 1022 SRU Bullpup 22, the SRUNA. We have 10 rounds loaded, 5 rounds of CCI Stinger, and 5 rounds of American Eagle suppressor. So let's go. All right, now the supers, or the subsonics. We just did a test fire with 5 supers and 5 subs, and we With Ear Pro, we couldn't tell a difference really. It might have been slightly of a different tone. That speaks volumes to Angstadt's can. It seems to be working excellent to the point where with Ear Pro on, we can't tell a difference between spicy 22 and subsonic 22. So now we're just going to do it without Ear Pro and see what happens. All right, 5 super and 5 subs. All right, subs. I don't notice a difference whatsoever, but it's hearing safe, so that's nice. And your face is right next to, or your ear is right next to the ejection port, so that's even more impressive on Angstadt's part. So we just did the 22 test fire. We did it in a small enclosed concrete floored room with Ear Pro and without Ear Pro, and it was pretty damn impressive how quiet that barrel got this thing to. The barrel, it's the Todd Howard thing. It just works. We shot it with the 22 Stingers, which are some of the spiciest you can get. It's not the spiciest, but it's pretty damn spicy. And we put American Eagle suppressor ammo through it, and that is advertised at 870, I think, feet per second. But I don't have a chronograph, so I can't tell you exactly what the feet per second is, but I know that it was low enough to where I shot it without Ear Pro. My ears were right next to the action. And since this is blowback, it's going directly into my ear. Didn't have any real issues whatsoever. Admittedly, you know, I fired 5.56, the SAW, M16, fired the 240, the M2, and the Mark 19s and all that shit without Ear Pro because I was dumb. And this, I would shoot this without Ear Pro all day long. Take that with a grain of salt. I have busted ass ears. You guys probably don't. Little virgin ears. Other than talking about the shooting, it felt great to shoot. It felt like a nice, tight little, like, it feels like a little laser gun. Like, it's small, boxy, very, very short. It feels like a space gun. And it's quiet like a space gun. I like it. I think this is I want to say a step in the right direction. The problem with saying that is that, like, you hope that there's more steps after that. I don't think that they need much more. A couple little small things here and there, that's easy to fix. That's QC that they can handle on the back end. Other than that, like, I am psyched about this, man. The ergos are great. I don't have to swap out the pistol grip for anything. When we throw in the frickin' banana mag, like the 25 rounder, I think we'll see how that fits. But it is so far away from the magwell that I don't think we'll have any issues. Unlike the SARB 15, it was like a 1.5 inch, 2 inches from the magazine. That was a bit of an issue. Hence why we actually have this extra Magpul grip laying around. But yeah, like I said, man, this is cool as shit. I'm very excited for this. I'm even more excited because we're going to full auto this guy, and I think with the integrally suppressed barrel, it might drive that fire rate even higher because it's blowback, and that provides more pressure backwards. So I might only be able to run the 10-round magazines, which is inconvenient, but even then, like the standard setup will generally run the 25 rounders okay. It always runs the 10 rounders, but it just shoots so damn fast that it outruns the springs on some of the larger magazines. I think this one's going to be cool as shit. It's going to be an awesome rental gun, and I think people have a really good time with this. My name is Sheridan Halfacre from Rack & Back Armory, and this was our installation and build of the Ruger 1022 with the Angstadt barrel and the SRUNA Bullpup kit from SRU. Guns up.